Hi, welcome to Strangers with Kittens. You guys, what the hell? I feel like every week it's like, okay, this is the strangest things have ever been. And then it just gets worse. Uh, the Jeffrey Epstein documents. So I'm just getting the highlights now, here and there, and it's unreal. And some biblical Game of Thrones, devil's advocate, Rosemary's Baby shit that seems too horrific to be true. But then again, you ever notice how it tends to be people who have a certain something going on inside that they feel is shameful or whatever, um, that they project onto other people and call it a sin? What I'm saying is it's always the people that have something within themselves that they feel they can't share with the world, or they're ashamed of, or it's their shadow self that they project onto others and demonize others. And when it comes to this stuff, I mean, it is some demon shit. That whole Pizzagate thing was so nonsensical and strange and cartoonish that I barely paid attention to it back in whatever, 2015, 2016. But now it's beginning to make sense because it's like, yeah, every accusation is a confession, right? You're accusing other people and they're like, what? Huh? What? Who even thinks of this? I'll tell you who. People that are so dark and so monstrous. It What's going to happen, you guys? It seems so not far, I don't want to say far-fetched or anything. Like I've unfortunately come across my share of shapeshifters in my life when I was a child, and as an adult. And I know that nothing is out of the realm of possibility. And this is not me casting doubt on any victims at all. It, it's just processing it. That's all. It's just processing it. And I know that a lot of people of color are on social media saying, yeah, glad you finally woke up and smelled the coffee, because these are things that we've known for generations. Slave owners, people that have power over vulnerable people are monsters and pedophiles and cannibals. And I, I don't know. Monsters is the only word that comes to mind, other than demons, which I know sounds like I'm a Christian nationalist, and that's not true at all. It's just that I do think that I mean, I know that there is darkness in this world, and Jeffrey Epstein obviously was like a prince of darkness. And the people in his orbit, I mean, I just, I want to be talking to you guys about lipsticks and makeup, because I went to Sephora this weekend and I had so much fun. I hadn't done that in a while. And, buying makeup is different when you're in your 50s than it is when you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40s. And I wanted to talk to you guys about that, but I can't, because there's so much craziness in the world. And before I get to the rest of our episode, which I'll tell you about in a moment, I have a lot of things to tell you guys. I just want to acknowledge that things are insane right now. But listen, there has always been darkness and light in our universe, and we just need to be forces of light. And the singing that's going on in Minneapolis right now, and the welcoming of people who work for ICE, telling them to just put their weapons down and just join the human race, and that they'll be forgiven, is so beautiful and is such an antidote to all the darkness that is also swirling around us right now. But here's the thing. All of this coming out, I just have to believe that all of this coming out is this purging. Darkness can only exist in the shadows. When you shine a light on it, it can't survive. So as depleted as I am by the things that I've been hearing and watching and reading, because I do feel that it's our duty to be informed and to not turn a blind eye, especially to victims. But I think that we need to be informed, but also call all the light back into us. And in light of this part 2 of I'm glad my mom is woo woo, I want to ask you to pause for a second and to just close your eyes. And this is, by the way, after you're feeling overwhelmed by what's in the news, by things you've seen on social media, by things you've been reading, hearing, watching that just feel dark. To pause, to close your eyes, to take a deep breath, to call all of your energy back into your body. I call all of my energy across all time and space back into my body because it's depleting. It lowers your vibration. It makes you feel hopeless and helpless. And that's not who we need right now in the world. We need everyone to amplify their light, to be strong for the people that are being victimized right now, and to be brave and to act, because action is the antithesis of anxiety. It kind of eats anxiety like a Pac-Man. One thing that I found really helpful and made me feel good was I went on a website called resistandunsubscribe.com. Resistandunsubscribe.com. And on there, it tells you how to cancel a lot of your subscriptions. And I canceled a lot of subscriptions. For February, there's sort of this call to hit them where it hurts. And that's the wallet. So cancel Paramount Plus, cancel Amazon, cancel whatever you can, cancel Apple TV, cancel Apple News, cancel Apple Music, cancel all of the huge mega corporations with billionaires who live in this, I don't know, stratosphere of evil that's feeding into all of this darkness. They react to losing money. So for February, I'm going to live without the things that I watch on Amazon. I'm going to live without the things that I watch on Apple TV. But if you need to like marathon watch your stuff and then cancel tomorrow, so be it, or the next day. But try to get it in this week, beginning of February. And if we all cancel our subscriptions, it's a way to send a message. So that feels good. And that's something you could do that actually is fairly easy, fairly painless. You can do all those things that you've been meaning to do instead of watching your shows. Maybe you want to crochet. Maybe you want to work out. Maybe you want to do puzzles. Maybe you want to read more. Maybe you need to call more friends and family. Maybe you want to start writing letters or cards. Maybe you want to learn a new hobby. So that's one way that you can do something. Okay, now on to our episode. Sorry for if it seems preachy or I don't know, a bummer, but we're all living in this. We're all feeling this. We can't pretend that we're not. And also, I don't want to pretend that I'm not. And also, I want to feel less alone in my feeling like this is absolutely insane. And I was just talking to my daughter who is in college, and it just made me sad that this is some version of normal to her, you know, that she's still establishing what is normal and what our country is. And what the fuck? This is what young people are thinking is the United States of America? Democracy? But again, like I said, there has to be a purge before we can move forward, before we can really heal. Everything has to be out in the light. Okay. So we're a young country comparatively, and we were built on slavery. We were built on immigrants being exploited and white supremacy. That is a fact. And this all has to come out. It has to be purged. It has to be transmuted into something good. So this is painful, but we all have to do our part in order to make this into the country we want to live in. I read this exchange. I'm not on X, but it was screenshots of, I believe it was on X, and it was so funny. It was, I'll put the link underneath this episode, but it started with someone saying, I'm from the Black contingent and we'll trade you Nicki Minaj for Keanu Reeves and Dolly Parton, I believe. And then somebody was like, I'm from the white contingent and we're not going to give our best for your worst. And then it just went on and on and on. And it was so freaking funny. And that's the thing. We're out there. You're Black, you're white, you're Jewish, you're Asian, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're trans, you're gay, you're straight, you're light. You're light. We're all light. I mean, except for those of us who aren't. But the majority of us are light. And even the people that aren't pure light are light that have lost their way. So when we get together, there's a vibe. There is. And you'll see in this link, that's what it said. Somebody said something like, Black people, white people, when the right people get together, there's a vibe. And there is. And they keep trying to divide us, but we're not divided by religion or sexual orientation or race or whatever the fuck else they're trying to divide us by. We're light together. And together, we're going to fight this and we're going to win. So this is so not, I mean, I was going to say it's so not Gen X, strangers with kittens, fun stories, but isn't it though? I mean, Gen X comes in finally and is like, what the fuck? After a lot of people have shit the bed. So here we are, the latchkey kids who are smoking in the bathroom, waiting for everyone to get their shit together. And they couldn't, didn't, whatever. We're going to do this. We're going to prevail. It's going to be rough, but we're going to do this. So after you've done your anti-fascist activism, whether it's unsubscribing or showing up at a protest or calling your representative or whatever you feel you're capable of doing, you need to do things to raise your vibration. You need to call your energy back into your body. You need to do things that keep you in the light. And one of the things that I like to do is spending time with people who have a high vibe and feel like sunshine and are cool. And one of those people is my friend Chris. So I have a little bonus content, little part 2 sequel from last week. So without further ado, please come hang out in my kitchen with me and astrologer Chris Nolan. Strangers with Kittens, Gen X stories from the least parented generation. I have a technical question for you. Is your North Node always the sign that's directly across from your sign in the zodiac?
Your North Node could be anywhere in your chart.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people think like, I'm a Gemini because I was born in June, but your sun in Gemini could be in any of the 12 houses. Your sun in Gemini could be in the first house or the fourth house or the 10th house. If your sun is in the fourth house, you get fueled by your family. If your sun is in the 10th house, you get fueled by your career.
Hmm.
So it's super fun and definitely worthwhile.
And totally explains what you were saying about how could all these different relatives be Sagittarius and be so different.
So different
Right.
concepts.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be your reading to learn
Exactly.
things.
So much. And,
Yeah.
it's fun and funny.
A friend of mine and I had asked for our charts to be read, and we were going to do it together. And Chris was like, absolutely not.
No. Thank you. I'm so flattered, but no.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, and then we did have privates, and it was good because it was private things and, processing in the moment, hearing things that you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that, or whoa, I got to strap in, or oh, thank God this portion of my life is coming to a close
Yeah.
because it's been brutal, so.
And there's plenty to talk about in the hour. I always feel like an hour is not enough time to go through a chart, and yet it's so much
It's
information.
so much information.
Yeah. Juno is our attachment style, and it's a very important part of your chart. And Vesta, the asteroid of patience. So to get that validation, Vesta in the seventh house means you're patient, almost patient to a fault with your partner, right?
Mm,
And the ability to change and the ability to stay loyal without making changes that are necessary. Those are themes that come up a lot, and I can see them quickly.
mm,
And sometimes that's the objective observation that helps people to make a shift that they've wanted to make a shift for a very, very long time. And all the classes I ended up taking in high school were about giving presentations.
mm.
And then I majored in communications. And it was because of that silly eighth grade assignment and my mother's New Age library.
So what else? What other books do you remember?
I really liked the tarot. And, that was a lot of fun. It's sometimes I got a little nervous, and the same thing with the Ouija board. Like, I loved the Ouija board, and then I would get freaked out and nervous and scare myself,
Mhm,
and I was an anxious kid. I was a little nervous.
mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, do I want it? Do I not want it? Do I want it?
Right.
Do I not want it?"
Were you doing it alone or
Or I'd make my little brother and sister do it with me,
okay.
and they were just like, "Yeah, whatever, whatever." But my dad was, working for DYFS, and my mom was a nursing student, so it was like I was letting my brother and sister in, I was making the dinner,
Right.
yeah. So a lot of
Quintessential latchkey kid.
yes,
Yeah.
100%. Although, anytime we got locked out, it was my little sister who could, like, jimmy the lock with, like, a card.
Nice.
She is amazing. I wonder if she can still break into houses.
That's a good skill to have. We didn't have a lock or even a latch or a door handle on our front door. You could just swing it open,
Yeah,
which, if you're already a nervous kid, did not feel great.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when I was in high school, suddenly a lock because somebody tried to break. Weirdly, you could just push the front door in, but the back door had a lock on it, a deadbolt. But you had to make sure you pushed it hard enough that it would latch, and someone hadn't done that. And my mom was up in the middle of the night because she had a cold, and she was, like, watching TV, and we lived, like, right on the highway, and a hitchhiker tried to come in through the back door,
Oh my gosh.
and, so he could have just come in the front door, but
Right,
but we got a lock on the front door, and that was really hard to get used to because I don't feel like I was given a key. I don't know.
right?
But I was constantly getting locked out, and I would have to climb, like, onto our shed roof, onto our family room roof,
Mhm.
and then go into my brother's,
Resilience.
bedroom window and get attacked by my dogs
That's so
if
funny.
I got locked out. There's always a way.
Yeah. At my grandmother's house, if I was locked out, I would jimmy the window open and then climb through the window. I feel like we're more resilient.
You have to be resourceful because
Yeah.
you didn't have a cell phone. It was
No.
like, figure it out.
I know.
Nobody's helping you.
I know.
Yeah.
And we did.
I remember, I worked because we also worked, right?
Oh, yeah.
So young. Um, I was working a party for a neighbor, and I was in, like, a dressy god awful shoulder pads, satin jumps jumpsuit. It was like a set. It was like a top and bottom, and big shoulder pads. I bought my own clothes, and I'm sure I got it at like Filene's Basement for $2. So I was like, that's good enough.
We only shopped at
And
Bradley's.
Bradley's was pretty
Uh-huh.
deluxe,
I
actually.
love Bradley's.
Yeah, I loved it too. I had friends that went to Bradley's and I was pretty jealous. And my sister got, I remember, white with light blue swooshes, Cortez Nikes there.
Wow.
And I coveted those sneakers so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
because I was wearing Tom McCann jocks with like
Mm.
hard plastic bottoms that made you fall all the time and then cracked and let the rain in. Um, but it was pouring. It was actually sleeting. It was a holiday party that I guess I kinda took coats and passed hors
Yeah,
d'oeuvres,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I wasn't driving, so maybe 16, 15, and I get home and nobody's home, which is weird for my house, and I had to climb up the shed roof, the family room roof, and it was, like, icy, and then the roof was kind of slanted, and I'm in a satin holiday outfit and pumps probably because it was the '80s, and I crawl in and I'm sure I made so much noise, and I crawl and it's dark, and I crawl into the, bedroom window, and I had 2 dogs, and my dog was quiet as a mouse, you wouldn't even know she was lurking there in the dark, and then bit me when I came after all
Welcome
that.
home.
After all that, it's like, and you get bitten. Wait, what were we talking about before?
Right?
Wondering whatever happened to those glasses that you had with your initials
Oh,
on them.
I
My
love those
God.
glasses.
I don't
I
think
love
I ever
those
saw
glasses.
initialed glass.
We
Maybe
had little
Mrs.
stickers. We had stickers that you could put on them. Yeah.
That's
I did
cool.
that, and then when I started working at the Roy Rogers, I had quite a few jobs. I worked for the Commission of the Blind. My uncle got me the job, and that was a summer job. And then I worked for the movie theater in Nutley, the Franklin Theater, and I would sell tickets or I would, pop the popcorn and, like, "Would you like butter with on that?"
Right.
And then I got this great job at Roy Rogers, and the question there was, "Would you like a biscuit with that?" And we had
And
this
you had like an
Oh,
outfit.
we had an outfit, and it was
Brown. Yeah.
brown, and it had,
It's
like,
like
a little
70s
beanie,
brown.
and then I'll never forget, I got fired. I did. I got fired for giving food away to my friends. She screams so loud, and
What
I
do
was
they think a teenager's gonna do? I mean,
I
come on.
know, I know. I was trying to be cool, and
Of
yeah.
course.
So, I had a lot of jobs. But I would walk past the Bradleys every day to get to my job at the Roy
Rogers?
Rogers, and it was a long walk. Like, it wouldn't even occur to me to ask for a ride.
Right.
So I would walk from one end of town all the way to the others in my
Oh my
brown Roy Rogers
so
uniform,
proud.
and then I'd pass Bradley's and then work at Roy Rogers and hand out my biscuits.
So what okay, it was brown
And brown apron.
and white?
I don't remember what color the shirt was because it was really the brown and then the brown hat. Yeah.
Because I feel like it kinda rivaled Burger King. Because Burger
It
King had
did.
brown, orange,
It
and gold,
was.
I think?
I think it was, and it might have been a stripy shirt, but that was on the other side of town. You didn't get to walk past Bradley's. But when you work at Roy Rogers, you could
Suckers.
walk past Bradley's. I know.
That was the highlight.
I loved it.
So wait, what job came after then the movie theater?
The movie theater.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was at the movie theater
I feel
until I
like
went
that's
to
a step up.
college. It was good, and you could watch, like, little snippets of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, if everything was done, you could, like, go in and watch a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
I feel like
really
that
liked
has
the
more
movie
perks than
theater.
Roy Rogers.
Yes, yes, exactly, and Roy Rogers was early mornings because I would work on Saturdays and Sundays early,
And they did breakfast,
and there was
right?
no early at the movie theater.
Yeah,
You were
that's
there
right.
late, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Lots of jobs.
We were resourceful.
It's true.
So you do astrology.
I do.
You also do sound healing.
I do. I do. I love my gong baths. I do private sessions and I do large group sessions, and everyone lies down on a yoga mat, and I play the gongs, and it's very deeply relaxing.
Mm,
People seem to love it.
yeah.
And that was the same time I got really interested in astrology, I was enjoying the gong baths. I've always been into yoga, and I was going to this meditation studio called Quell, and I was going through a very, very big life change, and there was a lot going on in my life and my kids' lives, and I lied down for this gong bath, and I got up 25 minutes later and was like, "Everything's wonderful in the world. I don't feel
Wow.
any stress. I'm so happy. I wanna learn how to do that."
Wow.
So, I took a
So
lot of
healing.
classes, and I really enjoy it.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
I
I
really
don't
like
think
it.
I had heard of sound healing until you shared it with me.
Yeah. It's good, it resets your nervous system, and who doesn't want that?
Yeah, the gong especially. Um, yeah, that's really cool. And I had been to classes with the glass bowls,
Yeah, yeah.
which was also really nice. But yeah, I had never done it before I went to one of your classes.
Yeah, 7 medals.
Yeah. Getting back to your mom's bookshelf growing
Yeah.
up, were there any other books? You touched on tarot, handwriting analysis. I know you did the Ouija board, but were there any other books that sort of captivated you?
Every book, I think every book, but all of these books, these new age books, were on the same shelf next to a set of games. And so I love games. I've always loved games. I love playing games with my kids and doing puzzles. And sometimes we would have these family game nights, but most of the time my brother would like tip the game up and storm off. And I was like, okay. And that was game night.
I know we did have game night. We played Trivia Pursuit in the 80s, like when my adult siblings would come back, like who had
Okay.
moved out, gotten married and moved out. If they came back when I was a kid, we played cards. Like my aunt would visit and we'd
Hearts
play
and
canasta.
spades. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
um,
Parcheesi.
part, I never played Parcheesi. Is that a card? No, that's not a card
It's
game.
not a card game, but we played a lot of Parcheesi, and we played a lot of hearts. I was actually just on vacation with my kids, around the holidays, and we played cards every day. We played Uno, and we also played
Oh, that's a big
hearts.
one in my house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now. Oh, you know what we played a lot of is Monopoly, which I
yeah.
hated.
Okay.
I was just someone who felt bad for everybody, couldn't charge people rent, and then my brother would like run out of money and he was the opposite. He loved charging everyone and was ruthless. And then he would ask to borrow money and I would always give it to him and
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
always lose. So
It's so funny.
it was no fun for me.
Now there's
Um,
100 different kinds of Monopoly. I just bought my nieces the Monopoly for Wicked.
oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a Monopoly for every theme that you can imagine.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been such a pleasure and such a
Thank
treat
you.
being in person.
I
You didn't
know.
see it, but we had blueberry pancakes before we started
Delicious.
talking. It's a really good morning. So thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
was so great.
Love you.
Mwah. Love you.
Thank you.
See you soon. If you like our show, please rate, review, and share on social media. Strangers with Kittens is taped before a live audience of dogs.